Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really going deep into the story of Steffi Graf. She's an icon, obviously, but her legend isn't just about the wins, is it? It's about, well, the incredible pressure she faced from the outside.
Exactly. And our goal here is to unpack what kind of strength, what kind of resilience it takes to reach the absolute pinnacle while weathering, frankly, brutal storms.
And to really get a handle on how huge this challenge was, we have to start somewhere pretty dark. One of the most shocking moments, really, in tennis history.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's April 1993. Hamburg, Steffi Graf's biggest rival, Monica Seles, the world #1 at the time, she's playing a match. And during a changeover, just like that, a spectator runs out of the stands, onto the court, and stabs Seles in the back.
It's horrifying. Just completely horrifying.
And the motive, this is the part that directly involves Graf. The attacker, he was this obsessed Graf fan. He literally said he did it because he wanted Seles out of the picture so Steffi could be #1 again.
It's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And think about the weight that immediately puts on Graf. You're what, 23 years old? You're at the absolute top of your game.
Yeah.
And suddenly, any success you have going forward, your dominance, it's forever tangled up with this horrific act of violence someone else committed, supposedly for you. It just casts this shadow. And that, I think, sets up everything we need to talk about today. We're not just counting trophies here.
No.
We need to understand how Steffi Graf kept her focus, her dignity, how she kept winning when her career became defined by this storm, really, of injustice and chaos she didn't create.
That's the heart of it.
Yeah.
She defined greatness, absolutely, but she did it carrying this immense burden.
Yeah.
Expectation, scandal, personal stuff she never signed up for.
Right.
So the big question for us, and maybe for you listening, is how do you keep delivering at the highest level when the very ground beneath your feet feels like it's constantly shaking because of things you can't control?
A universal question in many ways.
Okay, so let's trace this journey. Where does this resilience start? It really begins with her childhood, the genesis of the prodigy, but it came at a cost, right?
Oh, absolutely. The sources often call her a reluctant prodigy. Her path wasn't really her choice, not initially. It was driven by her father, Peter Graf. He saw talent, this raw diamond, and he was, well, relentlessly determined to shape it.
Regardless of what she might have wanted.
It seems so. The training regime was famously intense, not just practice, but like you said, molding under fire. By 13, she's competing professionally. By 15, wow, that forehand, that speed, it was already feared.
Yeah, the forehand was something else.
Totally unique. But off the court, she was, the opposite. Quiet, intensely private, shy even. Then on court, just ferocious, a machine.
And that machine-like focus led to maybe the single greatest year in tennis history, 1988.
Unbelievable. The Golden Slam, winning all 4 Grand Slams, Australian, French, Wimbledon, US Open, plus the Olympic gold medal, all in the same year.
It's statistically staggering. It's pure will-meeting opportunity.
And the way she won back then, it wasn't about close calls. It felt inevitable. People said she crushed opponents, gave them no oxygen, total domination.
Right.
Which actually sparked this debate, is greatness just about the wins, the stats, or is it also about how you win, that kind of psychological dismantling she perfected? Does that factor in?
That's a really interesting question. But as dominant as that was, it's only part of the picture. Because just as she's hitting this absolute peak, the shadows start creeping in. Big time.
Yeah.
We see the trophies, right? But we often miss the enormous weight the athlete carries when the cameras are off.
And it's important to note, the really tough stuff started before the Seles tragedy. In the early 90s, her father, Peter Graf, her coach, the architect of her career, he gets caught up in this huge tax evasion scandal in Germany. Arrested.
It wasn't just a minor story, it was massive. A national scandal, really.
Yeah.
And immediately, the focus shifts from him to her. The press went after her, questioning her loyalty, questioning if she knew what was going on, and especially questioning her silence. She just wouldn't talk about it.
Which put her in an impossible position. Silence could look like strength, maybe control, or it could look like guilt, complicity even. What could she say? Anything might hurt her or her father.
So what did she do?
She retreated to the only place she felt in control, the court. Her response was just more winning, more titles. It was like her shield, her way of asserting control when everything else was spinning, demonstrating resilience through action.
Okay, so she's dealing with the family scandal, the media pressure.
And then boom, 1993. The Sealess stabbing happens. And even though she had absolutely nothing to do with it, it wasn't her fault in any way.
Right.
The narrative shifted again. Suddenly her wins, especially against a weakened field without Sealess at her peak, started feeling, well, some people whispered they were tainted.
That's incredibly unfair.
Completely unfair, but she carried that too. The knowledge that her main rival was sidelined, not by tennis, but by violence. That the competitive landscape wasn't whole. That's a heavy, heavy burden for any athlete.
So she's constantly playing defense, emotionally.
Yeah.
Playing not just to win matches, but almost to justify her place, push back against suspicion, all while managing this family crisis.
It's almost unimaginable pressure.
Yeah. So, okay, we've talked about the external storms, the scandal, this tragedy fallout, but then there's the internal battle, the fight within herself. Because beyond all that, Steffi was also fighting her own body. Injuries were a constant companion, weren't they? Knees, back, feet, forcing her out of big tournaments again and again.
The physical toll was immense, and you have to imagine the mental toll piling up alongside it. The pressure, the scrutiny, the scandals, it all wears you down.
Which brings us to maybe the most revealing thing about her entire career. Despite being the best in the world, she admitted she never loved the spotlight, never felt comfortable with the fame.
That's the core of it, isn't it? Success looked glorious from the outside, but for her, it felt like a heavy weight.
And she even said it explicitly. Tennis wasn't her destiny, she felt. It was her duty.
Wow! Think about that. Duty. How does someone become arguably the greatest ever at something, achieving total mastery, not from passion, but from obligation?
How do you explain that?
Well, I think it connects directly back to those external pressures we talked about. When her family life imploded with the scandal, when the Sealess incident put her under this awful cloud, tennis maybe stopped being a choice.
It became a refuge.
Or maybe a structure, a necessary structure, the only arena where she could impose order, maintain control. When the outside world felt chaotic and judgmental, the court was her defense mechanism, her duty.
That completely reframes her dominance. It wasn't ego or just the love of winning. It sounds more like this intense, almost superhuman discipline fueled by obligation.
Exactly. Duty over desire. And yet, look at the result of that duty. It was paradoxically beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it really was.
That slicing backhand, pure artistry. The forehand, just brutal power. And the footwork. It looked like choreography sometimes. That sense of duty produced 22 Grand Slam singles titles, 107 career titles overall. Astonishing.
Sustaining that level, driven by duty.
Yeah.
That's a powerful idea in itself. But then comes the final act, Section 4, the victory of self. Her retirement in 1999, was that just an end or something more?
I think it was the beginning, the moment she finally gave herself permission to step away from the duty, to claim her own life.
And the world started to see a different Steffi Graf then, didn't they?
Absolutely. Suddenly there were pictures of her laughing, looking relaxed, finding community, and of course building a life and family with Andre Agassi.
Another tennis legend who knew a thing or two about pressure and complex legacies.
Right. A fascinating pairing. Both understood that weight of early fame, parental control, and together their focus shifted completely away from the court towards philanthropy, their foundation, helping kids. And that transition, I think, that is her real victory lap. Stepping away from the duty of tennis allowed her to finally step into herself. She wasn't Graf the machine anymore. She was just Steffi, human, vulnerable, free.
So reclaiming her own identity, defining life on her own terms, that was the ultimate win, more than any Grand Slam.
I truly believe so. Surviving the storms was one thing, but claiming the freedom to live as herself, not just as the champion the world demanded, that's profound.
So when we look back at Steffi Graf's whole story, what's the real measure of her greatness? It's not just the 22 slams or the Golden Slam, incredible as they are.
No.
It's that she endured these kinds of storms that no scoreboard can measure, right? Family betrayal, public suspicion, the psychological weight of Sealess's injury. And she came through it, not just intact, but ultimately free.
Her journey really pushes us to think about what victory truly means. It's not just the medal or the ranking. It's that inner ability to stay standing, stay focused, stay true to your task, even when the world is trying to define you by chaos or by others' actions. And the lesson for all of us, I think, is about resilience. That you don't have to be defined by the shadows that others cast on your life. You have the power within you to take control of your own narrative, to rewrite your story.
That really is the takeaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You listening might not be facing down match point at Wimbledon, but we all face our own arenas, our own pressures every day, expectations, criticism, unexpected burdens. And maybe the lesson from Steffi is that you can take that weight. Instead of letting it crush you, you can choose to turn it into fuel, into motion, into resilience, and eventually find your own kind of freedom.
Well said.
So think about it. What arena are you competing in today? Who are you really playing for? The voices outside, or the calling, the duty, the truth you define inside yourself? Let Steffi Graf's story be a reminder. The biggest matches aren't won on grass or clay. They're won in the courage to stand tall in your own truth.